Welcome to the Category Mistake. I'm your host, Richard Mariello, and I am back. Now, I did a podcast after Halloween before this time. The problem is I was concussed. I was concussed pretty largely, and I don't remember a single thing and even how I did it. So this is what happened. On Halloween, my brain and my body decided to stop. So I passed out, fell backwards, hit my head on a doorknob, and took out a doorknob with my brain. Not a good idea. Since that time, I spent 6 weeks basically in bed doing nothing. Nothing productive, not working, not really driving, not doing anything fun. But I guess I did a podcast and I voted, both of which I don't remember much of. Now, the last couple of weeks, I have been having a lot of emails from former students and former people in my life. Some going, where's the podcast? Some going, hey, you were an inspiration. You were a good teacher. Basically, hey, you didn't suck. And you don't think of that as a good or bad, you don't think of that as a teacher. You don't think, hey, I hope in 5 years, 10 years, whatever, I get a letter from a student saying, hey, you inspired me, or you were my mentor, or you were good, or, I hated that you taught me this, but you did. You made me learn the periodic table, and I hated you for it, but now I don't hate you so much. You made me learn the Gettysburg Address and say it in front of people. I can't believe you made me do that, but now I can talk in front of people, so I guess it doesn't suck. And that's been what's happening the last couple weeks. A funny thing is, the last 2 years I haven't taught. 2 years ago, this January, I stopped teaching. I worked at Target, did security for a while. Now I'm helping homeless veterans. Great opportunity, great job. I love it. I love what I do. The problem, of course, is I'm a teacher. Now, some people say, that's just your job. It's not, you act like it's who you are. It is. Everyone, I believe, has something that completes them, makes them who they are. It could be you're a teacher, a therapist, you work in the arts, you're creative, you're something that makes you passionate. I have students, one of them's name is Nick, loves theater, okay, band, theater, the whole shebang-a-bang, anything to do with arts. He loves acting, his dad acts, they do small plays, they do big plays, they do medium, they do everything in between, okay? Kid is great. He was a pretty good student. I think his sister was better, but that's a different option in a different time. But when he was a student, I hope he understood what I was trying to do when I was trying to tell him, do your passion, but also understand that sometimes your passion can't pay for everything else. So like my wife, her passion is music. She loves music, just not theater music, but more like orchestra, things like that. But she's a therapist. She likes being a therapist, but she loves music. She can't make a career. She probably could try, but she can't make a career really in this world today as a full-time musician without starting young. She didn't. She had kids young. She had a life. She did things. A lot of musicians that she knows that do it full-time have been doing it for 20, 30 years. It's a little difficult now for her. But she is a therapist, but that helps her pay for her passion. Here's my thing. My passion can pay me. But I stopped doing it. Now, I stopped doing it originally because I left the school I liked teaching at, and I went to a different school. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be better. It's older kids, high school kids, and it's a public school, so it'll be a lot easier. It sucked. Now, when I was at the private school teaching middle schoolers, I had students like Allison and Layla and Lila, and all these kids who, quote unquote, gave me a hard time. They did not give me a hard time. I expected the stuff they did to me, the silliness, the absolute insanity they would do. And these three girls always tried to get away with it. And they thought they were being, sophisticated. But I expected it. I have had teenage daughters. I know the world that we live in. And it was kind of fun to always watch them try to think how to, get me or make me do something different. when I would change the homework assignment because they're like, oh my gosh, or whatever else, that the one I changed it to was actually the original homework assignment. I just wanted to see what would happen. And they never disappointed. They never disappointed me in showing exactly the craziness that they live in. I had other students like Emma and other students like Emmett and Ben, who Emma was a great student. She was very focused, very on task, always ready to go. She didn't like homework, but she also didn't like to be coddled. She wanted to be pushed. She wanted to be better. She wanted to make herself a good student. Ben and Emmett, great kids. They were your typical teenage boys. They liked to see things blow up on YouTube videos. They liked playing Minecraft and they liked playing Skyrim and all those things. But they also liked history class when it came to talking about things like colonization, the war, patriotism, anything to do with America or Europe, and how one activity, one event can have such a trickle-down effect that it can literally change the world. They talk about, we talk about how the United States multiple times could have declared its independence, but it took England crossing that line, and that one line they crossed, the taxation line, they kept increasing. And the Americans was like, if we're going to pay taxes, let's pay it to ourselves and take care of ourselves instead of having someone else take care of us. But those singular events really fascinated those kids. Now they hung out with people and the other boys, and the other boys are great, like Sean, and we had Max, and we had a bunch of kids. The point of this story is this. I can talk about what I taught them 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, actually 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I can talk about it all day. It's my passion. And I lost that passion for a long time. When I left my last teaching job, I was just miserable. I was angry, frustrated. I was not myself. Over the last couple of years, a lot of things have changed. My wife and I are, I think, stronger now than we have been in a long time. Financially, we're good. But we've also had incidences. My wife got attacked. She got hurt. I've had some medical things. I passed out, knocked myself unconscious. Was pretty sick there for a while. But I also, in the last 2 years, I realized what I like to do and what I'm meant to do. And around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, because I'd sat in my house for all of November and some of December, I started thinking, why am I not doing what makes me happy? Why am I not doing something that will pay me to do the thing that I'm passionate for, that I can survive off of? And I didn't have an answer other than fear. See, here's the thing when I was teaching my students. I had students like Allison, Haley, Emma, Piper, Charlie, Charlotte. They all had times when I was teaching them that they were afraid or scared or worried or upset or something just didn't seem right. And sometimes they would react with, oh, that's not fair, or they'd be really nervous. They didn't want to do a presentation because they didn't want to fail. They had nerves. All of us do. And some of them I would say, hey, how about we do it this way? Try to relieve some of their nerves. Some of them, I just say, hey, you got to go up there. If you're going to do it, go big. Go big or go home. And like Layla did that. She was King George and she went all out. Amazing job. But I wasn't taking my own advice. For the last 2 years, I was running away from the one thing that I love doing. And why do we do that? Why do we as a society run away from the things that scare us? Now, polar bear coming at you. Run. You're not going to win, but still try. Atom bomb dropping or nuclear bomb dropping. Run, not going to work. The things that we should run from probably are going to kill us anyway. But the things that we do run from, like jobs, love, kids, activities, things in our lives that could bring us joy, but we refuse to take that one step forward. The biggest challenge in my life in the last couple of years is realizing when I left my last teaching job, I stepped so far back, I was blinded by it. Now, I have students in the last couple of years who have reached out. I have teachers who have reached out. I have people who have reached out since I stopped teaching. And all of them have said the same thing. I take this from me. I was not the best teacher. I've worked with some amazing teachers. I've been taught by some amazing teachers. But what the students I had, a lot of them have said to me is that they knew I liked what I was teaching and that I was passionate about what I was teaching. And that's all I wanted when I started teaching, is to show the kids, and maybe one or two of them understand the passion that I feel for the world that we live in. Now, do the kids, as high schoolers and college kids now, some of them, do they agree with what I taught them? Do they understand what I taught them? Do they like what I taught them? Do they think it was good what I taught them? No, not all of them. And that's okay. But I know for a fact, because I've asked, there are at least 4 or 5 students out there that not only understood what I taught, but they've looked back and understood that I wasn't teaching them history for dates, times, and locations. I was teaching them history so they become better human beings. And that's what history is really about when you teach it. It's, hey, we screwed up. What are you going to do? Hey, we did dumb things. We did the slavery. We did the wars. We did the internment camps for Japanese people. We did bad banking decisions. We did prohibition. We did unprohibition. We did no women can vote, then women can vote. We did blacks can vote, blacks can't vote, blacks can vote depending on what state you're in. Blacks are 2/3 of a person. Blacks are a real person. All of that we as a people have done. Okay, guys, what are you going to do? How are you going to fix it? I can't fix the government that we live in today. I would love to. I don't even know where to start. We have people who bicker, moan, and complain like they're teenage years on the playground, complaining about who likes this boy more, who likes this girl more. It's stupid. And it's funny because I think, not tooting my own horn, I think the students I taught in middle school have a better understanding of how the government should work than the people who work in the government today. I believe if Haley, Piper, Charlotte, Allison, Layla, Lila, both Hanscom girls. I'll just give them both. Just that way, I don't name them each. I'll just say the Hanscom girls, the Fennessy girls, Layla, Lila, Marissa. If all these kids, Ben, Max, Sean, Caden, Emmett, if they were in charge of the government today, we would have a lot less stupid going on. And that is sad. And nothing against the kids. They're smart kids. Cream of the crop. Chef's kiss, okay? Good kids. But when 16 to 20-year-olds can run the government better than people who have been doing it for 40 years, those people need to go away. They just do. There's no point for them to be there. And that's my passion. And see, I can ramble on for hours, and there's like 6 people who would actually listen to this and say, oh, okay. And that's okay. I don't do this so people can, all around the world can hear me. I do this to make sure people know that there's somebody out there that cares. There's somebody out there that actually gives a crap about them. You know, I went to see Nick in a play. I drove an hour to see him in a musical that he wasn't starring in, but he was in. Why? Because I wanted him to know that even though I wasn't his teacher anymore, I still was there. I promised Haley Brown when she was out of 8th grade, if she graduated high school and college, if she invited me, I'd be there. She invited me, I was there. Graduating high school. Now she's in college. Every student I have, all I've ever wanted for them is to be a better person than me. Be better. You know, and that's what we're supposed to do. Now, if you listen to TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Snapchat, it's all about me, be great, be whatever. Shut up. Okay? All these apps can suck my left toe. Okay? I don't care. What I care about is, hey, I learned about this. This person told me about their struggles. This person told me what it was like. This person showed me the good, the bad, and the ugly. How can I get the bad and the ugly to be not so bad, not so ugly? That's what we should be inspiring every day. Hey, kids out there, you're smart. You have AI. You have technology at your fingers that I didn't get till I was 25 to 35 years old. The last 15 years. Technology's gone crazy. And we should stop saying, well, these kids don't know anything. They know more than we know. They can look up everything in history on their phones. They don't need a book. They can Google it. That's really what it is. Google it. Now, to carry on a conversation, they need to know more background. And that's what I would teach. It's not just, 1776, 1492, 1990, 2001. All those dates are important. Days that will live in infamy. They're all important. But what events before and after led to us remembering that one day? What happened before 9/11 that made 9/11 happen? What about the first attack on the World Trade Center? Who carried that out? Why? How did Osama bin Laden get into power? The whole gambit. And then afterwards, what the heck did we do? I can tell you what we did. But that's what my passion is teaching about. It's not the date, time, location. It's what made the date, time, location happen. Why did the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor? Why did the Germans do what the Germans did? Why did America not care until after Pearl Harbor, really? Why did England keep calling for help and we not do a damn thing? Why? I want them to ask the why question. Now, I will always be their teacher. And I go back to, I think, my first podcast, or second. I called this the category mistake because I had a teacher, David Ingracia. And his big lesson in life was asking why. And as a parent, you sometimes get this whole stop asking why and just do it. Why? But there's times in our lives where we need to stop and say, why are we doing this? Why are we bombing? Why are we attacking? Why are we taking away? Why are we letting in? Why are we pushing out? Why? Does it benefit the human race or does it benefit me? And which one is more important in the long haul? I'm not a big proponent of angry politics, but that's what we have right now. I am a proponent of immigration, legal immigration, doing it the right way. But there are people who have snuck into our country or come into our country the wrong way because they're scared to death. They're like, I'd rather sit in an American prison than be where I am right now. I have kids, I have a wife, I have a family. I'm worried about dying. So this is what I got to do. And how do I, as a human being, as a believer of men doing good for each other, how do I say no? How? How do I say, hey guys, you're not as important as these guys? And I can't do that. I can't do it. Now, there are people here illegally that have done lots of bad things, from killing people to stealing to, drunk driving to weapons to drugs. Those guys should go away. But a family, okay? Yes, they did it wrong. They're a family and they're trying to make good. They're working. They're doing what they can. It's not legal. It's not the right way, but we got to do it better. Israel, Palestine. If we're not going to just stop it, then we need to leave it alone. We are an ally of Israel. We have been forever. But they have been fighting with each other since history has been written. And us to all of a sudden go over there and say, hey, what Hamas did was wrong. Israel bombing them out of existence because Hamas uses human shields is a hard thing to swallow. But they have to do it. And hopefully with a peace, now they actually have peace for a little bit. But again, Ukraine was part of Russia, was not part of Russia, was part of the USSR, was not part of the USSR, was part of kind of Europe, but not really Europe. Those guys have been fighting forever. And we're throwing money at it instead of just saying, hey, figure it out. We're doing that because we're afraid. Again, we're afraid of what will happen. We have people protesting the new president. We have people protesting the old president. Why? Because we're afraid of what they say. Not of what they do, but what they say. It's their words. It's their rhetoric. In the 80s, and even before that, but I remember the 80s well, the president and the head of the Congress, who was a Democrat, president was a Republican, they worked together because it was for the greater good. Now we don't do that. Again, my 8th grade and 7th grade history class, U.S. history class could run the country better than these guys right now. And that's scary. But here's the thing, guys. Last here's the thing, I promise. Allison, if you're passionate about nursing, go to nursing. If you're passionate about basket weaving, maybe get a job and do the basket weaving on the side. If you're Nick, if you want to be in the theater and you can go to college and get a degree and there's a course for you to do it and you do it or something like that, go crazy, kid. But your dad's in the theater and he has a real job. Not a real job. I guess saying real job is mean. He has another job and he does the theater. But there's always a chance for you. You're at the age where you can go, I want to give this a shot. Give it a shot. Haley, you love dancing, but you know that that's not what you're going to do. You're, occupational therapy, speech therapy. You want to help others. Amazing. I think you're right. I think you should be a history teacher, but that's just me. I've had kids going in the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Air Force, which I don't know why the Air Force, Coast Guard too, but we'll get over that. Do it. If your passion, if what makes you happy can make you not live in a box on the street, go for it. If your passion is something like that you can't survive off of, don't give it up. Keep doing it, but find something that can help you do that passion and, have walls that aren't made out of cardboard. And celebrate your parents. Okay, some of you have had a really hard time with your parents. Your parents have done things in your mind that are dumb. They've done things in your mind that are selfish. They've done things in your mind that are just wrong. I'm a parent. I've done all that too. But here's the thing, guys. Without your parents, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be allowed to go to theater school. You wouldn't be allowed to go to college like you are. You wouldn't have passions that you do because, like it or not, our passions come from our childhood, and our childhood is made by our parents. Pretty sure Nick didn't come out of the womb saying, I'm going to be in theater. He probably saw his dad doing it, or one of his sisters, or he saw a play, or he saw a musical, and he's like, hey, I like that. Let me try it. And he did. Haley had a good opportunity to get a good education, and she looked around and she said, hey, the world needs this. I'm going to try it. Now, will she succeed? I don't know. I think she will. Will Nick succeed? Will Allison, any of you succeed? No idea. But you know what? You can't fail or succeed if you don't do. Barrett's a great swimmer now. Didn't see that, honestly. Nothing against you, Barrett, but I didn't see it. It's just, everyone out there needs to follow their passion and do it. Even if it means you do it on the side, you do it as a hobby, but don't give up what you love because of a dollar bill. Now, don't go homeless. Please. That's just stupid. You have a great guitar, you have a great drum set, but you're living in the street. Probably not a good idea. Doing Macbeth on the streets of Rochester, New Hampshire, because that's where you live, not a good idea. But other than that, you know what I mean. And history tends to repeat itself. I'm going to try to go back to teaching in the fall. But this time, instead of going to a job and trying to be better than what I did in Rochester or in Kennebunk, trying to improve and be a real teacher, I'm just going to teach. See, Anne McGregor was a teacher I worked with, and every year she seemed to get better, but she didn't change the way she taught. She adapted to the children, but she didn't change her passion. Her passion was teaching. She could teach gym class. She could teach English, Bible, everything in between. She could teach anything. This woman can teach anything. And because it was her passion. Teaching kids was her passion. Still is. It doesn't matter. You can't shut it off. If you like sports, you're not going to all of a sudden not do sports or watch sports. Maybe you can't play it, but you love watching it religiously. Or you like, certain things. You're not going to stop no matter what age you are. When you stop, that's when you kind of stop. You start being depressed. I stopped teaching in January of 2023. It was horrible. I went through all this time loathing, just beating myself up because, hey, I can't do this anymore. Because I was trying to be a real teacher, quote unquote, at the last school I taught at, and it made me miserable. I'm a category mistake. I don't fit a mold. I love being a category mistake. And that's just what it is. I love being a category mistake because I find more of them out there. Allison, Haley, Marissa, Layla, Lila, Ben, Emmett, y'all are category mistakes. You don't fit the mold that people have put you in. And you're going to be you. Doesn't matter if everyone likes it or not, you're going to be you. And like I've said before, when someone tries to squash you because they think they're better than you, just tell them to suck it up, cupcake, and move on because you're not changing who you are. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of being a category mistake. Be proud of being something people can't quite explain. I tried to be a normal teacher and not who I was for 6 months, and it made me leave teaching for 2 years. I'm not doing that again. I'm going to teach the way I want to teach, and hopefully I get some more Haleys and Emmets and Bens and Maxes and Seans and Emmas and Charlottes and Pipers and Barretts and Angelas and everybody in between. Maybe not a Layla and a Lila, those girls, oh my gosh. I didn't mind Marissa, but Layla, Lila, geez, could you just pick a name, one of you? Because I always got your names mixed up. But anyway, I'm proud of everyone. Be a category mistake. Be who you're supposed to be. Don't worry about everyone else. Your parents aren't going to be there when you're 50 looking back at your life going, oh, I could have done this. No, just it's you. Be you. Do what you need to do to make yourself the best category mistake you can be. Till next week.